one day my mom just asked us, my brother and I, do you want to go to a place where you can eat apples? You know, so we said, yeah, okay. We stayed with my aunt for a while and then moved to our own place, sort of suburban Seattle, basically. Seattle was kind of nice but a bit sleepy, and then going to a gentle liberal arts college on the East Coast, but a bit more challenging, and then moving down to New York, you know, it was a big change. I discovered architecture in my third year, which is in Japan, as an exchange student. I was interested in science, interested in arts, and discovering architecture made me realize it's something that has both. So I focused on poetry, calligraphy, and I decided I needed to do something more three-dimensional if I'm interested in architecture. So I took a bronze casting class at a sort of strange studio in New York. Put together a portfolio with those things and a few sort of architectural drawings and apply for the graduate schools. And I realized it wasn't about architecture, it was about stating a kind of worldview, or perhaps asserting a certain way of doing things that would be important to pursue in architecture. In Hong Kong, before the handover back to China, it was an incredibly exciting place, you know, architecturally as well as culturally, just this kind of tension, you know, that they're about to face this fate, and it's like there's a deadline, they got to finish everything. You know, as a young graduate, I had a really good experience. I worked on the Hong Kong Central Station. After '97, there was a bit of a downturn in Hong Kong. People were anxious, you know, when's the big change going to come? Although for me, being in Hong Kong was quite fun. I knew, you know, it was probably not forever. I met Mike there and then came here. But because I'm a kind of perpetual expat, so I didn't mind coming to London. I found it quite difficult to get work immediately. Going through Arup Associates was an easy step. I worked on the Manchester Stadium, the Commonwealth Games. I worked for them for 1 year, but I was based in Manchester for 5 months. Well, during Arup, I was teaching with Mike at North London, what's now London Met. And then we went straight into teaching at the AA, and Tainan was born. Of course, I still wanted to be working, so maybe I kind of forced myself into the job, maybe. But it seemed to make sense to share the childcare, share the work, and because architecture for us is life and work all together. You know, I've been in England for 15 years now. Maybe I have adopted some of this sort of culture here. Is a bit of a tempering of this kind of maybe slightly sort of gung-ho and yes can do, and it's a bit more reflective. I can certainly see the American side of me. I'm not sure yet what the sort of British culture is in me, but I can notice maybe the tempering or the mellowing, but maybe that's just age. One of my favorite musicians is Arup Khan and Bjork as well, because I think they're incredibly expressive of their own culture, but they have this huge universal appeal, and because somehow they transcended the boundaries of culture. They touch the human spirit in a very fundamental way. For me, if we can do that, both me as a Chinese person working in the modern world and Mike as an English person working in the modern world, if we can do that, achieve that as architects, it would be the most satisfying thing.